So first, I'd like to welcome everybody. My name is Piotr Szymański, and I'm a co-founder and CEO of jtendo. Today, I'm going to introduce you to one of the security solutions that we are sure that of its value and impact on the global landscape. So without further ado, let's start. So the name of the solution is SigWall. SigWall stands for Signaling Firewall. This is a platform which analyzes signaling traffic coming from protocols like SS7, Diameter, SIP, and GTP, and applies sophisticated logic to determine which messages are legit and which are wrong or even malicious. And of course, the platform is supposed to act on it according to the security policy definition. Before we start, let me just say quickly that I'm going to briefly introduce you to the problem, which is mobile network security issues. Then I'm going to briefly present you the history of jtendo. And then I'm going to tell you a bit about what kind of remedy we have developed to solve the problems in terms of security of mobile networks. So let's start with just a bit of history. When GSM standards were being created, we were a bit naive in terms of interconnect security. Everyone thought that it's going to be a kind of walled garden market. So mobile network operators on the market will be just trustworthy and will be limited to some closed group of serious players like Orange, actually France Telecom at the time, or T-Mobile, which is again created by Deutsche Telekom, and some elite other. And some of the signaling protocols were designed in a way that provided just amazing functionalities, but the security was not there. And I mean by design. So since then, we all know that the mobile world is constantly evolving. Years ago, we used to define the saturation of the market by counting the number of SIM cards or mobile phones per person. Now it's way more because the IoT business is just growing exponentially. Our cars are connected, our fridges, our solar panels, and so many other things. The increase of communication traffic is obvious and is going to be way higher. Then there are protocols. We have started from SS7, like MAP, INAP, ISAP, CAP. Then with 4G and 3G, Diameter and SIP was introduced to mobile networks. And GTP for mobile data traffic was also from the very beginning. And these protocols were designed in a faulty way, assuming that the operators are in a walled garden environment. And obviously, we are adopting HTTP2 now in 5G. So we have legacy, which requires a lot of attention to apply proper security, which they lack by design. And we have new stuff, which is supposed to be secure, but let's see how wrong we are now. And also, there are more and more players on the market. Remember, I said something about trustworthy, serious players, and we are on an open sea now. Like the sea is full of fish. Lots of MNOs, MVNOs, IPX, GRX organizations, and more interconnection points. Next thing that is going to hit us is mobile private networks in 5G. And this is just going to introduce a whole new level of complexity and actually new security challenges, and lots of them. Now, there are so many known vulnerabilities of mobile network protocols, and it doesn't cost much to have the access to global SS7 network or Diameter network. I'm talking about $1,000 per month, so it's a very low bar. So many parties can afford this now, and some time ago, it might have been limited to hackers, so quite smart people only. But now, the entry level for criminals and scammers is just none. And last but not least, we are living in interesting times, and the war is kind of hitting us, especially in Poland, close to Poland. And the weakness of security are also used by state-sponsored actors to perform serious attacks. So these attacks can affect normal subscribers as well as VIPs. Just to give you some examples of how hackers or other bad actors could do is they can actually locate any subscriber in the world using SS7 or diameter connectivity. Maybe most of us don't really care for it because we are just an average people, and we are not that interesting. But in case of CEOs of big corporations or politicians, government officials, military personnel, and many other people, exposing location and tracking location can actually harm them. Now, another example is SMS hijacking. We in jtendo, we are also providing penetration testing services. And one of the ways we are presenting vulnerabilities, demonstrating the problem, is that we are using the password recovery mechanism over SMS. So we are trying to log into some target social account. We are just hitting password recovery via SMS, and we are hijacking the SMS, thus hijacking the social account. So imagine what happens if some politician or celebrity or maybe your bank is actually, your bank account credentials are hijacked in this way. So what I'm trying to say, there are more and more threats in mobile networks, and the growth of world wireless communication requires to put more and more effort in securing that area. And this is where our SigWall solution comes in. A bit about us. So who are we? So jtendo was established in 2010. As I mentioned, I'm a co-founder. And so we are 13 years old. From the very beginning, we were delivering signaling solutions to mobile network operators. And we are perceived on the market as mobile network signaling experts. And we are appreciated in this area. And we have delivered tens of platforms based on our intellectual property, because we are also a software house, as well as integrator and product vendor. We're always serving a critical function in operators' environment, so we do know how to deliver robust and always-on solutions, such as firewalls. So for 13 years, we are doing our best to solve most challenging problems for our customers, one of which is security. And we definitely want to continue to create innovative solutions, to develop new technologies, and we want to meet and work with smart people. And we all know that our telco environment is just full of them. So this is probably one of the best parts of our journey. Just to give you a small glimpse of our footprint, we have the pleasure to deliver our solutions and services for amazing customers in so many places around the world. It's more than 30 countries now on 5 continents. And as you can see, we fit in different cultures. And our common language, actually, with our customers is that we use professionalism. All of our customers are aware about our out-of-the-box approach to problem solving, and we are highly appreciated due to our openness, devotion, and skills. Now, let's get to the way we have created our SigWall. So under the hood, I would say. First, the architecture. So we are always open for integration with external systems, with all of our solutions. Thus, we have included APIs in integration components so that SigWall can be integrated with external data sources for additional information, for additional security. And I mean real time. But we also can integrate, or we are integrated with security operating centers of our customers, so operators, as well as their customers, so government agencies and corporations. Now, because we support multi-tenancy, there can be different security rules set for different organizations. And obviously the reporting is separated accordingly. Also, multi-layer architecture allows us to deploy signaling processing engine in the core network, but then the management of the security can be placed either on operators layer, like local operator, or on group layer, or even on the regulator or government agency layer. This is just extremely flexible by design. There is our unique feature of cross-protocol correlation. So because we cover all the mobile network protocols such as SS7 diameter SIP GTP inside one product. We can easily access information coming from one protocol from a security rule which is actually governing another protocol. Thus, we are, for example, it's quite easy to check whether upon GTP session, create session request, we can check whether there was a corresponding diameter authorization request beforehand, or we can go to HLR via SS7 to double check if some communication is legit. So there is no limit in crossing boundaries of protocols. In addition, the security policies can also be created to include multi-vector attacks, multi-protocol attacks. So it is just that we have one coherent platform, and it allows us to create just amazing scenarios. We are also implementing many business layer functions, like hiding IMSIs by mapping it to some temporary IMSIs on the border of the network. We have also a very flexible data model for storing profiles, which enables us, for example, to send security incident information to SOC of this particular customer, so this particular subscriber. So the possibilities are quite unlimited. Now, getting just a bit deeper in the technology, so implementation. Our products actually are mainly based on Erlang technology. Just briefly speaking, Erlang is a functional language and the technology created by Ericsson in late 80s. And this is the technology of choice for us. It was specifically designed as a language and technology for telecommunication applications. Then in the database layer, we are using quite well-known Elasticsearch, which enables our customers to access this data freely and create customized functionalities on top of our functionalities. Last but not least, we are cloud ready. Like by this, I mean that we can deliver SigWall on bare metal, just pure servers, or on OpenStack architecture, so kind of virtualization, as well as Kubernetes, which makes us 5G ready as well. Now, we are not just new kids on the block. We are quite proven. We have lifted some weights already, and we have deployed our solutions on 5 continents for different mobile network operators, as well as IPX, GRX. By the way, we have tested the scalability of SigWall up to 100,000 transactions per second per protocol per site. And the reason for testing so huge amount of transactions per second is the fact that we are not just considering to process interconnect traffic, but we are also able to filter national internal traffic for mobile network operators, because in some cases it's actually required as well. Now, there are 2 modes that we support in SigWall. One is intrusion prevention system, so an active node which filters, which can block, which can, of course, analyze beforehand and block or apply some particular logic on each of the messages. And the other mode is intrusion detection system, so a system, a mode, which basically evaluates if the traffic is legit or not and just can report whether any attacks were happening. Also, we have deployed our product, SigWall, in a hosted environment together with our partner iBasis, as well as on-premise, which is majority of cases for our customers. So we support both ways. In terms of few numbers from our past, we are 13 years on the market, and we have delivered platforms which in total exceed 1 million TPS in terms of capacity to process traffic. Our biggest installation currently has 90,000 transactions per second capacity on one side. Of course, it's a geo-redundant solution. And if I had a magic red button, which I don't obviously, which would just shut down all of our platforms, more than 100 million of subscribers would be affected. Now, I believe that our greatest strengths are based on innovation, ability to adapt, and flexible approach. And it is not only about SigWall as a product. I mean, yeah, we have capabilities to integrate it with more complex environments, operators of his customers. But I also mean our mindset, our internal organization, as well as just approach to new challenges, which allows us to quickly respond to new threats, to new situation. From the sales perspective, we are also flexible on business models. Some customers prefer perpetual license, some want a subscription license, some require us to adapt to their investment versus operational costs ratio. We listen to our customers and we are doing our best to help them in their business. Talking about customers' business, we are doing a lot to convert the security, which seems to be a kind of cost, into a value. This is something that is quite also unique for us. And we are constantly extending the functionality of SigWall to include things like border roaming gateway, prefix correction service, welcome SMS, roaming steering, actually the functionalities on top of the traffic that we already process in SigWall. We also extended SigWall with anti-CLI spoofing functionality, allowing to block robocalls and some other malicious traffic. Now, we are continuing to develop SigWall and to add new functions. Obviously, 5G is something that is in the future. Our pen testing team is doing a lot of research around 5G interfaces and vulnerabilities. And in some cases, we can see also that standards are not finished yet. They are still evolving, so the situation is quite dynamic. We're also doing a lot to introduce deep package inspection within GTP part of SigWall to enable to examine subscribers' payload and create a new value on top of that. For example, detecting viruses, malware, and stuff. We also extend voice firewall with additional functions like steer shaken support and additional business logic for securing voice traffic and SMS sessions. Last but not least, we have SigScan, which is a automated vulnerability testing tool, basically automated pen testing tool. And it's used on a daily basis, which makes it a kind of active monitoring solution for network security. So there is a lot to do, and I hope that thanks to your support, we are going to be better positioned to expand on the market and create new value. So thank you for your attention, and I hope lots of ideas from this presentation will stay and resonate with you.